sight, dropping to throw late in the game. The Browns trailing 14-12. Mike Davis with the diving interception that won it for the Raiders. They went on to the Super Bowl championship. Today, the Browns and the Raiders meet again. Now to NFL 82 in New York.
And they will receive to start the game. Tom Flores, Pro Football Writers Coach of the Year. In his 4th year with the Raiders, never had a Raider team beaten in playoff competition. Of course, he had the perfect season in the playoffs the year the Raiders won the Super Bowl. They've won it twice in the last 6 years. The kickoff goes deep, and Clee Montgomery, a former Brown, takes it back for the LA Raiders. He's out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. There, Los Angeles goes on offense, 1st and 10 with Jim Plunkett heading out to lead the offense. Marcus Allen, first-team All-Pro, NFL Rookie of the Year, the Pro Bowl, all this in his first season in the league. At one running back, Kenny King, a good runner, but more of a blocker now with Marcus Allen in. Cliff Branch still has the great deep speed. Markham Bowenwell's on the other side, and Todd Christensen, a good catching tight end. Up front, the Raiders are always strong with Davis, Marsh, Dalby, Marvin, and Lawrence. And now, the Raiders, with the best record in the American Conference heading in, go from offense, 1st and 10. Play fake, and a home run ball coming right out of the blocks. Cliff Branch has the ball for the Raiders, and he's down to the Cleveland 16-yard line. Keeps on going. They're going to rule he was down at the 16. So the Raiders, who over the years have loved the long ball, hit for 64 yards on the first play from scrimmage.
Don, people sit there and they talk about throwing motions. When you take a look at Jim Plunkett, he's got one of the most fluid long ball motions in the game. He's like tackling a flat rock. When you get him in a situation that he can throw a play-action pass on you, get a guy like Cliff Branch dissecting the secondary, he can put it up there as well as anybody. He did on this occasion. Branch made a nice adjustment to the ball, but that's vintage Plunkett. Real early, 64 yards.
64 it was, so the Raiders go to the bomb early, and now they have it 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 16. Kenny King runs, and the Browns defense it well. Cleveland with that good core of linebackers. Sam Ratigliano starting Clay Matthews for the first time in 4 months. He's been out with an ankle fracture, but Matthews, a former Southern California player starting at the right outside, was on the stop. The front is Marshall Harris, Bob Golick, who's done a big job since coming as a free agent at middle guard. Mike Robinson there is the linebacking trio. Chip Banks, defensive rookie of the year. Tom Cousineau in there with Ambrose and Matthews. And the secondary, which has had its problems. The Pittsburgh Steelers had 521 yards offense against Cleveland last Sunday in winning. The Raiders with 2nd down and 10. Kenny King again, and King is ahead to the 9-yard line. He's ahead for 7, as they've not yet gone to Marcus Allen. 13:02 left to play in the first quarter. The Raiders getting the ball on the opening kickoff, and on the first play from scrimmage, the bomb. Jim Plunkett, a 64-yard strike to Cliff Branch. Kenny King, who had 3 touchdowns in the Raiders' Super Bowl win over Philadelphia, starting in the backfield with Marcus Allen. 3rd down and really almost 4 yards as Plunkett takes a look. Into the end zone. Branch goes for the ball, but it's too long. That brings up 4th down, and the Raider field goal unit comes out. The Barr brothers kicking against each other. Chris for the Raiders and Matt for the Browns.
And it's a big hole that the Cleveland defense made there. Sam said earlier that if we can keep them from running away with the ball game, I think we'll be in excellent position to make a few big plays and get a good chance to win the game. He said, you know, they can blow you right out, and they've done it so often that you have to watch for Cliff Branch on a big play early, getting them out of the box fast. If they got that, they're still going to have to settle for 3.
Chris Barr ready to try now. A 27-yarder. He's made his last 6 in league play, and he gets this one to open the scoring in this playoff game. So the Raiders, after the big play from Plunkett to Branch, get the field goal from 27 yards out, and they open up a 3-0 lead. Los Angeles will kick off when we come back. Today's playoff game is brought to you by the new Chrysler Corporation, where low financing and long protection helps make car buying easier. By new Advanced Formula Stress Tabs, high-potency stress formula vitamins for people who burn the candle at both ends. And by a company called TRW, where tomorrow is taking shape. The famed Los Angeles Coliseum, an estimated crowd of 50 to 55,000 here as the Raiders, 8-1 coming in, have scored on their first possession on a field goal by Chris Barr, who now kicks it off. Dino Hall, 5 yards deep, wisely elects not to bring it out. The Raiders, historically with great special teams play, and they had a wave of silver and black sweeping down to cover the kickoff. McDonald at quarterback for Cleveland. Mike Pruitt and a former USC Heisman Trophy winner, Charles White, tailback. Dave Logan's been catching the ball well lately. Ricky Feature, the other wide receiver, and Ozzie Newsome, who always has a big year at tight end. The offensive line must come together. They've not protected their quarterback well in the recent weeks. Deacon, Jackson, Babb starting for DeLeon at center. Delano Lear at right guard, and Cody Risen. Now the Browns have the ball for the first play from scrimmage from their 20. Mike Pruitt, the fullback, runs it, but the Raiders give him virtually nothing as Lyle Alzado, the ex-Brown, comes up to make the stop. Number 77, they start up early. Charles White took a shot at him. Howard Long, a potential great one out of Villanova. Reggie Kinlaw and Alzado up front in the defensive three. Hendricks, Millen, Nelson, and Martin back the line. Hendricks headed to the Pro Bowl again. So is cornerback Lester Hayes. Watts at the other corner. Mike Davis and Burgess Owens, the safeties. So there was no gain on the first play from scrimmage for the Browns, and they go 2nd and 10. Paul McDonald runs it down, and he throws a strike for a Cleveland first down. Coming out of the backfield and catching the ball, Dwight Walker. So the Browns are ahead now to the 35-yard line. A 15-yard gain on the play. Dwight Walker, a rookie out of Nicholls State.
You'll notice McDonald in the first 2nd and 9 situation. That's the type of situation he'd like to stay out of, because Oakland's got an exceptional pass rush. 2nd and 9 is a certain passing down. He'd love to be able to operate 1st and 10, throw play-action passes where he thinks he can get some crossing patterns, which take a while to develop, and I think you'll probably see one here.
Right now, they go to the pitch back. The tailback, Charles White, turning the corner, but there's nothing there. The Oakland Raiders spring out the defense. Rod Martin, the right outside linebacker, was on the stop for the LA Raiders, and so it will bring up 2nd down and 10.
What makes it doubly tough, Don, for a quarterback when you're playing against the Raiders is that you know they can do both run the ball and throw it effectively. Charles White is an excellent runner, but no one has run the ball effectively on the Raiders all year long. It's just an extremely tough defense to run the ball against. You take Alzado, Kinlaw, Long. These guys are tough.
And they sure have not given up much to the rush. They were 2nd in the entire league behind Pittsburgh. Raiders allowing only 86 yards a game rushing. McDonald puts his hand up, left to the ball fly, but it's slapped right back at him as Alzado busted on through.
Sometimes you're in a bind. You don't know as a coach whether you want to let a guy that's given you so much, like Lyle Alzado had in Cleveland, and let him go. But they weren't able to trade a whole lot for him. He knew he had a young player that might be able to help him, and he gave away something that regenerated.
3rd and 10. The final half of scramble runs into his own man as the Raiders, with an enormous pressure from the left side, just overpower the Browns. Right tackle Cody Risen was run over.
My goodness. Howie Long got in there so fast on the play. But we're taking a look at some of the offensive play. Dave Logan, who's an outstanding receiver, running against Watts. Ted Watts, a #1 draft choice. One-on-one coverage. Didn't have to cover anybody that time because his defensive end just ran over the top of everyone.
Well, when we were talking, John, to Lyle Alzado, he said he thinks that Howie Johnson, or Howie Long, has the potential to be another Merlin Olsen, which is saying something.
It is indeed.
A long punt now downfield, and Greg Pruitt, the ex-Brown, brings it back for the Raiders. He's out to the 31-yard line. And there Los Angeles goes on offense again. 1st and 10, a 53-yard punt by Steve Cox. Well, the Los Angeles Coliseum, the Goodyear Blimp Columbia, with Tom Mattis at the controls. Jim Plunkett's first throw of this game was his longest completion of the season, 64 yards to Cliff Branch, and it was Branch's longest reception. Now the Raiders go on offense a second time, leading 3-0. Raiders go to the run, and Marcus Allen's first carry is good for 13 yards and a first down. The man who handled the ball over 1/3 of the time from scrimmage for the Raiders this season.
He's the man. Lyle Alzado, I think, said it best when he looked over there the first game of the new year, and he said, that man can play. He's shown everybody since then, but at that time there was a real question mark. I think number 32 has shown that SC has some 32s that have shown themselves rather brightly.
There have been a few. O.J. Simpson, interesting as Allen carries again. This time he's knocked down by Mike Robinson. Paul McDonald, the Cleveland quarterback, says he believes he's the only QB that quarterbacked in the backfield with 2 Heisman Trophy winners. When Marcus Allen was a sophomore, he was the blocking back for Charles White now at Cleveland when Charles won the Heisman.
Does make it a little bit easier to play then.
An excellent day with temperatures close to 80. There's a former Brown great, a former Cowboy great, Kelvin Hill, on the sideline for Cleveland as the Raiders now have it 2nd down and 10 at their 44. Plunkett lets it go, and Todd pushes to make the ball kicked away, and it looks like Clarence Scott is intercepted for the Browns.
I'm sure he has. It was a super play, a little combination play. Plunkett loves to go to his tight ends, Don, and I think over the years you'll note that every tight end Jim Plunkett has played with has played well. Even going back to high school, he said, I don't know, there's something about throwing the ball when you're in trouble to the tight end that makes it easier for me. This time he thought he had Christensen down in the seam. Didn't happen. Cleveland comes up with a big interception. They've got possession outside their own 30, and they're 3-0 down.
With John Brody, this is Don CRIQUI back at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, where the LA Raiders are out in front 3-0 over Cleveland. Los Angeles hitting out a 64-yard pass play. Plunkett to Branch, first play from scrimmage, and subsequently Chris Barr kicked a 27-yard field goal. Now the Browns, after the interception by Clarence Scott, go 1st and 10, and McDonald lets one go long. And it very nearly is picked off. It will hit the ground. Lester Hayes, a Pro Bowl cornerback, had his hands on it, and Mike Davis has done some intercepting against Cleveland.
Well, he's jumping around. The last one he picked off against Cleveland put the Raiders with an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, which they used very well. But that one bounced off the turf, unless Lester Hayes' hands are a lot stronger than I think, because it bounced about 8 feet in the air after it hit.
And so it all comes back, and now it will be 2nd down and 10 for the Browns. The ball at their 33-yard line. Dave Logan goes out wide to the right. Ricky Features on the left flank. Beautiful day with clear, sunshiny skies in Southern California. With a run, and Pruitt works hard to get back to the line of scrimmage.
And that's the tough part for Cleveland. They know they're going to have problems. They hate 2nd and 9. But when they have 2nd and 9, you've got to run the ball once in a while, or else they just line up in their starting blocks and come after you. That man knows better than anyone how they get after a quarterback and how it gets going good and bad. Brian Sipe 2 years ago was the league's most valuable player, and he put on some miracle finishes. This year they've got a young player, and I think you'll see a lot more of Brian in the future.
Paul McDonald dropping the throw, and he uses it out in the flat. Mike Walker goes for the ball, but can't come down with it. That brings out the 20 unit for Cleveland.
That's right. Not many teams can claim beating USC in the Coliseum.
Steve Cox, who hit a 53-yard punt, opened the game for Cleveland earlier, ready to kick it down to Greg Pruitt. A high kick. Greg Pruitt starts back at the Browns. He's back to the 23-yard line. And there Los Angeles goes on offense. A 52-yard punt by Cox and a 10-yard return by Pruitt. So Jim Plunkett and the LA Raiders come back out ready to go on offense when we come back. 7:23 left to play in the first quarter at the Los Angeles Coliseum.
Hi.
Little guy saying hi. The Raider fans here as their team has taken a 3-0 lead. Raiders on offense now 1st and 10 from their 24-yard line. Malcolm Barnwell, 80, back in motion toward the line, and Plunkett going along again. Ooh, that's almost had another one.
That was a perfect throw. Now, you can't see when you're sitting back there in the middle of a pocket with 7 people rushing, and you'll notice the 2 top linebackers, Cousineau and Banks, both trying to get to Plunkett. They know they have to put some time on him, but that puts a one-on-one situation back there with Branch. Plunkett finds it. Great opportunity to hit Branch. Hits him right on the numbers.
Branch got the first one, you'll remember, for 64 yards, and shortly thereafter, the LA Raiders had a 3-0 lead on the Chris Barr field goal. Now Branch goes out on the left flank. Open backfield, 2nd down and 10, Los Angeles. Over the middle, a hard strike and an equally hard tackle. Christensen, the receiver, and Tom Cousineau, number 50, nailed him.
Well, Plunkett had to come off, and it really wasn't an effective play for the offense. We've talked about the two outstanding linebackers. They may have four in Cleveland. But the linebacker drops are exceptional. This time, this is Chip Banks, who was voted the Rookie of the Year in the National Football League, the AFC Defensive Player. He gets back as fast as you can expect a man that weighs 235 pounds to get back and cover his area. You can see the three Browns right in tandem, no open holes. Had to come off.
The reception makes it 3rd down and 3. The pitch back goes to Allen, and it looks like that second charge after he was hit carried him to a 1st down to the 35-yard line. The Raiders roll on as Marcus Allen, who rushed for 2,300 yards last season, most of it at the stadium for Southern California, ripping it up here.
It's so big, sometimes the amount of yards don't do justice to the importance of the gain, because picking up on 3rd and 3 a 1st down is a very difficult thing to do. And he picks it up regularly. That just gives a quarterback an extra dimension to keep his drive going.
Marcus Allen averaged 5.7 yards this season for the Raiders every time he handled the ball. Now they go to King. Tackle, Davis is out in front, and Kenny King goes across the 40 and out to the 43-yard line. Banks ran him out.
He ran him out, but he ran him out late. What you do is you look at film of another team, and you see how their tendencies are. Every time that Marcus Allen is on the strong side of the field next to the tight end, you'll see a simple little play to the strong side. Except this time it didn't work. Instead of running to the weak side with Marcus Allen, they give it to Kenny King on a counter play. Chip Banks had trouble containing. They pick up 8 yards. It's a quarterback's dream, 2nd and 2.
Chip Banks, who was Marcus Allen's roommate last year in college. It was a heck of a room. Pro scouts would like to have that room. Kenny King runs the ball to the 50-yard line on 2nd down and 2, and the Raiders have another 1st down with straight power football. 5:36 to play in the 1st quarter. Los Angeles in the lead, 3-0.
Well, Bob Golick, number 79 from Notre Dame. Cleveland's very happy to have picked him up as a reject. He was well known in college, got let go. Since he's come to the Browns, he has played that nose tackle, which is a very difficult position to play, and very well.
Marty Schottenheimer, the defensive coordinator, said of Golick, he hasn't played good football. He's played inspired football. He's been a big factor in the Browns' defense. Marcus Allen, a high school quarterback, looks to throw. Now he's got to head the other way, and he's got some room. Look at the move by Allen. Marcus Allen, behind the line of scrimmage, apparently was trapped, and he gets ahead for a 9-yard gain. Golick finally ran him down for Cleveland.
Not only did he run him down, Don, and this is a great play by two players. Number one, Marcus Allen made 9 yards out of a very bad play. But 2, Bob Golick is hit by 2 offensive players to keep him from getting to Marcus in the first place. He gets off in pursuit. Lo and behold, he comes back and makes the play.
But the Raiders advance the ball 9 yards downfield, so they're down close to the 40-yard line of Cleveland. Los Angeles leading 3-0. Hawkins and Pruitt in the backfield, and Greg Pruitt second back through, comes on a slant, and a penalty marker comes in. 2 National Conference playoff games have been decided. Bob McElwee gives us the sign. At Washington, the Redskins rolled over Detroit 31-7.
That was the close one.
That was the close one. At Green Bay, the Packers rolled on. They beat the St. Louis Cardinals 41-6. 16.
2nd down.
As we hear the holding penalty call, that's penalty number 87 for the Raiders. And people used to say, you know, you can't keep committing personal fouls, getting penalties, and be any good. They did the same thing when they won the Super Bowl, so I don't know what's right. I know it's 2nd and 11.
2nd and 11 it is after the holding call. They got Henry Lawrence on it. The Raiders just back on their side of midfield. Here's a throw to Pruitt. Tries to put a move on and gets ahead to the 42-yard line of Cleveland, where it'll be 3rd down and 2 or 3. Hanford Dixon and Ron Bolton were on the stop for Cleveland. At the Orange Bowl in Miami, the Patriots and the Dolphins are scoreless in the 1st quarter. The other AFC playoff opener today.
Donnie, again, this is a perfect example to illustrate the importance of a Marcus Allen. It's 3rd down and 3. It's generally a passing situation. For 90% of the professional teams, it is. For the Oakland Raiders, it's about 50-50. They've got about a 70% of chance of picking up the first down, running the ball with Marcus Allen, about the same throwing the ball. So that's why you'll see their third down conversions are so high.
Well, right now they have third down and a long two as Plunkett takes the deep drop. He's looking for a long ball. He's going to Christensen. And he is intercepted again. The Browns again picking off Jim Plunkett. Number 16 throws his second, and Hanford Dixon was the man on the interception in for the Browns. So again, Cleveland stops a Raider threat with a second consecutive interception with 4:01 to play in the first quarter.
Well, Plunk goes back. He's trying to get a deep corner pattern. No one thinks that's the pattern he would call in the huddle. He makes the throw just a little bit underneath. Dixon takes advantage of it. That's the second ball that's been picked off, intended for Christensen.
And for Dixon, a former #1 draft choice of the Cleveland Browns out of southern Mississippi, now in his second year with the team. That was his 5th interception this season. And so the Browns go back on offense, where in previous possessions here in the first quarter, they've been unable to move the ball with any consistency. Donald said before the game, we've got to get the short passes, negate the pass rush if we can. Here's a pitch back. Mike Pruitt turns upfield and does well as he bangs out close to the 25-yard line. A gain of almost 7.
Just taking a look at Charles White trying to block Ted Hendricks. I had the feeling he was patting him on the head, saying, now, fella, you don't want to do that, do you? Charles White, by the way, is an outstanding blocker. Every team seems to have a guy that they think is the best blocking back in the league. He happens to be the designated blocker for Cleveland.
Well, as you know, John, the Raiders say they've got the best one in Marcus Allen.
Well, he might be.
Second down and 4 now. Play fake, and here's McDonald throwing to an open man. Ozzie Newsome turns the corner, trying to run wide. Now there's a penalty marker coming in against the Raiders. So the Browns get 16 yards on the pass completion to Ozzie Newsome, and they'll get some more on a personal foul call against Los Angeles. Face mask is the call, so the ball will be advanced downfield, depending on the severity of the infraction. It can be anywhere from 5 to 15 yards.
This is only going to be a 5-yarder, but the first down play gave Paul McDonald an opportunity to run a play-action pass. And a play-action pass is one that he can either hold the linebackers, go back and hit the tight end where the linebacker should be. That's exactly what he did. The first down play that picked up 7 yards gave him that chance.
I saw Art McNally, the head of officials, and Norm Schechter before the game. We're talking about Oakland leading the league, or the Raiders leading the league in penalties. He said, yeah, it's because they foul the most. They won the most. On first and 10, Charles White runs the ball straight ahead. The man who had those great seasons here, rushing for some 4,800 yards as a collegiate player at Southern California. That was Charles White's 35th reception. 35 for Charles with 2:45 to play first quarter, and the Raiders leading 3-0. Second down and 6. McDonald gets the onrushing Hendricks, but only for the moment. As the leading sacking team in the NFL, the Raiders get their 40th of this season. They've had 2 today.
Well, he ducked enough to keep his head inside his helmet and go back to the huddle and call another play, but he didn't duck quite enough to keep the ball alive. A play-action pass, Hendricks is buying none of it. From the offside, you have to depend on protection. He didn't get it. The play bust.
Now, 2:24 and the clock running is Hendricks, who's only been great for 14 years in the NFL out of Miami, Florida. Came here from the Green Bay Packers to the Raiders, and he's going to the Pro Bowl again. That was his 8th sack of the season. He and Alzado each came in with 7 apiece. Third down and 16 now, so the Raider pass rush will be a-coming. And here it is as McDonald stands in. He gets some time, throws the ball out. A well-thrown ball, and Dwight Walker looks like he came down with it.
He did, and he got it about 1.5 yards short of the first down. You see McDonald.
Jeff Barnes ran him out, a 255-pound linebacker, 56. McDonald got time, though. The Cleveland pass blocking very good.
He got enough time, and that's all you have to give a man that's running a fan pattern. Walker's a halfback, ran a fan on a linebacker. Jeff Barnes made an excellent catch, perfect throw. They're still a little short, and I think you'll see they're going to punt.
And the rookie Dwight Walker now, John, has caught 2 for 30 yards, but as we saw, he was a yard short. So Cox, who's punted the ball in very well for Cleveland, his 2 previous attempts, will now try to pin the Raiders back in their end of the field.
What did we say? We said the Raiders love adversity. Plunkett's already thrown 2 interceptions. You don't see any points on the board against him.
Not yet. A timeout on the field with 1:56 left to play in the first quarter.
To give him a chance to win.
Coach Robinson looks on, a lot of his ex-Trojans out there. The Browns going for it on 4th and 1. The pitch back. Mike Pruitt. He bangs for 45. He did not get there. Matt Millen, a big Penn State linebacker, 55, jumped into the gap and slammed down Mike Pruitt.
That's what makes it tough. That's why the Raiders are the Raiders. They can stuff you when they need to. They play right along the line of scrimmage. You see Lyle Alzado, 77, giving no ground. Matt Millen comes right in behind, takes off the point of attack. 4th and 1, no go.
So the Browns trailing 3-0 with 1:46 to play in the first quarter. Gamble don't get there on the run by Pruitt. Matt Millen with the big defensive play. The whole Raider unit shut down the Browns blocking, though. And now Los Angeles goes on offense, 1st and 10 at the Raider 45-yard line. Raiders lead 3-0. Free ball in the Raider backfield as Marcus Allen got it, ran wide. Looked like he tried to pitch it back.
You know who made a good play is Jim Plunkett. Very seldom do you see a quarterback hand the ball off to a running back like he did then to Marcus Allen and be able to keep control of himself and see it go on the ground, come back and fall on it. That's an excellent play. Saved the drive. You get a chance to see it, I believe, as he tries to get out around the end. Plunkett's alert enough to see it and picks it up.
Browns just stripped the ball from Marcus Allen. 2nd down and 14. Here's a swing pass out in the flat. Malcolm Barnwell gets the ball, working ahead. He's going to be close to, but not quite far enough for a first down. Strong safety Clinton Burrell, number 49, knocked him down for Cleveland. Down at 1, the Raiders dig in with extra tight ends. Ramsey's in the game. Christensen, that's Derek Simpson, a blocking tight end in. Plunkett takes a look again, throws in the flat. And wide open there, and the Raiders have the first down as Marcus Allen's heading for the end zone. He steps out of bounds at the 11-yard line. So 3rd and short yardage, and the Plunkett Raiders cross him up. 35-yard gain.
And how many dimensions can one man add to a football team? Watch number 32 when he catches the ball. There's no one down there, but watch how he turns his body toward the tackler. He's a tough man to touch, let alone tackle.
Well, they love Marcus Allen in the Raider organization. Sam Bogosian, the offensive line coach, has said everybody hope their son turns out to be as fine a young man. Just the leadership in addition to his great abilities as a player. Marcus Allen now with the Raiders on offense steps into the I formation. As you see, New England and Miami still scoreless at the Orange Bowl second quarter. Ahead they go to Marcus Allen. He drives it down inside the 10-yard line to the 9 on a 1st and 10 carry. Chip Banks and Tom Cousineau made the stop. I thought Tom Flores had an interesting observation, John, before the game. He said, when you look at the season, we really are moving into the 10th week of play. This is when the good teams should start to peak, so maybe Cleveland can still get it going.
And some of the older players, Don, play at the peak of their ability. The guys like Lyle Alzado and Ted Hendricks.
Don CRIQUI with John Brody as Pom Pom Mom boogieing down there along with the Los Angeles Raider ladies. And right now, the Raiders have moved the ball down to the 9-yard line of Cleveland, where it's going to be 2nd down and 8. Everybody was delighted to see Cleveland owner and President Art Modell in good spirits and in good health after a scare earlier in the week. He's fine. Brought his Browns out early. On Tuesday, they worked in Southern California. Now the Browns come on the big pass rush. Clay Matthews comes on a blitz. We'll see if it's a free ball if they rule it.
They ruled it down, Don, and he wanted to go to Christensen. Christensen could not get free, and it would have to have been thrown in a 2-second drop. That is not the Raiders' style. They give. You see Clay Matthews, who made the stop. They depend on their quarterback getting 3 or 4 seconds to throw. We watched Christensen running his route. By the time he looks back to Plunkett, the play is dead. Let's go back to the huddle and regroup. That
they do, so the Browns get their first sack. See what Los Angeles has done on first down. Most of them came on the first play of the game, the 64 yards from Plunkett to Branch. Now Plunkett stands in. He has a problem, eludes it for the moment, throws on the run, and the ball is tipped away and intercepted by... No, they really did not have it. Ron Bolton had his hands on the ball, but apparently it touched the ground. But the Browns make fine defensive moves to shut off what looked like a touchdown to Barnwell.
Done two great plays by Clarence Scott early in the first half, and this one is better than all of them. He comes out, it looks like a certain touchdown. When Plunkett's out of the pocket, he looks like that's when he can really hurt a team. Clarence Scott comes back, makes a great stab, get one hand on the ball and save a touchdown.
Christensen 46 and Malcolm Barnwell 80 right there waiting for it. But the Browns shut it off, and so now after the deep drive, the Raiders have to go back to the field goal. Chris Barr kicking for Los Angeles, his brother Matt for Cleveland. Boys before the game said the folks back home at State College, Pennsylvania, just hoping they make all of them. That's what they're rooting for, but Chris doesn't make this one. And so the long drive downfield, no points. We'll be back with the Raiders in the lead 3-0. Back and ready to go on an 80-degree sunshiny day in Southern California is John Matuzak. Big Two's out with a back problem, has not played this season for the Raiders. Been in and out of traction. They're hoping to get him back next year.
Tell you what, they had a man that took his place that had just come on so strong, and the Two's got to be very healthy next year.
Howie Long, the young defensive end, playing for Tuzak, and now down the field, the long throw goes to Feature. He's in the air, and he has the ball for Cleveland. Ricky Feature going way up, a wide receiver sprinter. He comes down with a 47-yard gainer for the Browns to the 33-yard line of Los Angeles.
And guess who he beat? He beat a man they don't generally even try, number 37, Lester Hayes, who has to be as good a one-on-one cover as there's been in this game the last 10, 15 years. He really had the play covered, but Feature blocked him out like grabbing a rebound, came up with a big 47-yarder, and this is the first time that the Browns have really moved.
Their biggest advance of the game, without question. Lester Hayes headed to the Pro Bowl again, but that time he was beaten. Now, McDonald play fakes and stands in. He's looking deep. Lets her go, and here's a man open. Ozzie Newsome can't quite get to the ball at the 15-yard line. Ozzie was open. The pass a little long, as you see McDonald's numbers early in the game.
Yeah.
So the Browns, who came in a big underdog, have seen their defense bend, but as the old saying goes, not break. Only 3 points. The Raiders have so far in the game on the 27-yard field goal, their first possession by Chris Barr. Now 2nd and 10 for Cleveland. Mike Pruitt trying to cut back, lost his footing. Hendricks was on him. 3rd down and 10 for Cleveland. Your number, New England against Miami. A field goal by Smith puts the Patriots up 3-0. Same numbers that were on the board at the end of the game in that ice-covered field at Foxborough in the regular season. Here's a hard throw and an incomplete pass as Hendricks was right there to hit Pruitt when the ball came in. There's a penalty marker down. It's going to go against the Browns from the preliminary indication, a holding call.
Are we?
Sam Ratigliano said at the outset of the game, our number one priority.
Number 71, offense, penalty decline, 4th down.
Our number one priority is protecting our passer.
We have an interesting situation here. I don't know if this is beyond Barr's
It's pretty close to being
range, but it's going to be over 50 yards. It's going to be a 53-yard attempt. I was thinking they might have a go at it in 4th and 10. They certainly wouldn't punt from the 35-yard line.
The Barr brothers getting together before the game down the playing field, Chris and Matt. Father, a longtime soccer coach at Penn State. There's the field goal attempt. It is hit well and through. So Matt Barr drills through his longest field goal of this season, and the game is tied at 3-all. A great kick by Barr. It's a 3-3 game.
Could have been 60.
As we have 12:34 to go now. John Smith with the field goal, 23 yards out, and Matt Barr with one here at Los Angeles from 52 yards, his longest ever, and it ties the Cleveland Brown record set many years ago by Lou Groza.
That is in a playoff, right? In the first half. On 4th down.
And here comes Pruitt, moving the ball back across the 10-yard line. He elected to bring it back, and not wisely, as the Browns knock him down. The Super Bowl playoff action continues tomorrow as the defending American Conference champions Cincinnati Bengals led by the leading passer in the NFL this season, Ken Anderson, go against Richard Todd and the New York Jets. Dan Fouts and Eric Coryell to try to take off against the Steelers at Pittsburgh. Check your local listings for the game in your area. They'll kick off today at 12 noon with NFL 82 on the home of the Super Bowl, NBC Sports. Plunkett's numbers, the one he doesn't like, the final one on the right. The 2 interceptions by Cleveland that stopped Raider drives. Now the decision to return a kickoff from the end zone results in the Raiders going from deep in their own area, 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. Plunkett takes a look and throws in the flat. The ball is caught by Cliff Branch, and he's out to the 23-yard line. And for Dixon drilled in there, but it's another good gain for the Raiders on the pass play. Good for a 1st down.
Don, this is an optional throw. Plunkett looks at the defense. First he looks to the right side, notices they're in a roll zone, which means there's 2 people to the right. That makes 1-on-1 coverage between Branch and Dixon. Anytime he gets that, he's going to throw it over there to number 21. That's 2nd catch for 75 yards, and I'm sure there'll be more.
On 1st and 10, the handoff in the turn-up field by Kenny King results in a gain of only a couple of yards to the 25-yard line. Tom Cousineau, number 50, filling.
We talked about number 56 being Rookie of the Year. This is Cousineau's 1st year in the National Football League, and everybody knows the notoriety that he has gained. Number 50, Tom Cousineau, sliding left, meets the play right at the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 8.
Doug Deacon, the Browns offensive tackle, said, we don't want 55% of the gross, we want 55% of Cousineau's contract.
Don't blame him.
Cousineau playing a big game so far. Here is a dump-off pass to Marcus Allen. Hutchinson moves, and Allen slides upfield on 2nd and 8 and gets out to the 32 or 3-yard line. It looks like he may have another 1st down for the Los Angeles Raiders.
He's going to break a few kneecaps putting moves on defensive players like he does. When he catches the ball, that's when the game starts. He's simply an outlet receiver. Silly to have your great running back sitting there doing a lot of blocking. Jim Brown started this trend. Just slide out of there. If you throw him the ball, he's more liable to pick up 50 yards than he is 5. That time he gets within, well, he did pick up the 1st down for him.
Allen's now caught 2 passes, good for 43 yards. 11 minutes to go in the 1st half. Game tied 3-3. Raiders from their 34. Jim Plunkett's been looking long a lot today. Now he gets Christensen wide open underneath the deep coverage, and Christensen on the run across midfield and down to the 42-yard line of Cleveland. Clinton Burrell, the strong safety, finally knocked him down, but he did it 23 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's the first time that Christensen's really had an opportunity to get clear today. Play action pass again. Got the linebackers off of the tight end. Todd Christensen, 42 receptions during the regular season, 2nd to Winslow, I believe, in the AFC. He gets in a lot of play-action situations where they can throw him the ball just as they did then. He can pick up good 20, 25, 30 yards.
Christensen, a number 2 draft choice some years ago of the Dallas Cowboys, but they couldn't find a place for him. Thought they'd made a draft mistake. The Raiders brought him in, moved him to tight end. He's been outstanding. Here's a swing pass to Kenny King. Blockers in front. It's Christensen. And King goes down to the 30-yard line. Kenny King with a gain of 12 yards and another Raider 1st down. And for Dixon knocked him out. So the Raiders getting a lot of offense, but not a lot of points here in the 1st half. The game is tied 3-3. 9:57 to play in the 1st half. The overhead look at the Los Angeles Coliseum. This is the first playoff game in the Coliseum since the Rams were here 4 years ago. And after a smoggy, overcast day earlier in the week, it's turned out to be exquisite. Maybe a little warm for the Browns. It's up around 80. 1st down and 10 Raiders. Marcus Allen from way deep in the tailback slot gets the pitch back and gets ahead for about 4. In the Coliseum. Thank you, Len. We're right now. The Raiders have the ball. 2nd down and a long 5 coming up. Almost 6. Plunkett takes a look. Rushes there. Here's the throw. He's got a man. Cliff Branch. And all that speed. He lost the ball. But he got some more yards when he fumbled it. Out of bounds at the 2.
Well, it's not so bad if when you lose it out of bounds and straight ahead. Boy, that's what it's so nice to have a Cliff Branch. Every time he's one-on-one, you can see Plunkett changing at the line of scrimmage. Look how sweet this is. One-on-one coverage. Let's go out to Cliff. That's 3 for 99 yards. A little boost with the fumble out of bounds.
3 for 99. The first reception of the day for Branch for 64 yards in his 11th year from Colorado. And Brown coaches, after looking at the film, say this guy, 11 years later, hasn't lost a step.
And that's correct.
So now the Raiders down close at the Cleveland 2. Marcus Allen, the deep set in the eyes. He gets the pitch, and here comes Marcus Allen, scoring his 15th touchdown of the season. He led the NFL with 14 runs for 14 scores this season, and now he's in for the first touchdown of this day. The 9-3 game Raiders. Marcus knows where the end zones are, particularly here at the Coliseum.
And look at number 23, Mark Vincent. You think he isn't getting an education? He didn't even get a hand on it.
So the Raiders this time move downfield and come up with points after being stopped earlier. Marcus Allen averaging 4 yards a rush. The Browns have keyed on him. He's gained 32 yards and 8 carries. The last one the most productive, and now the extra point by Chris Bard. The 10th point is on the board. 9:08 to play in the first half, and the Raiders have opened up a 10-3 lead over Cleveland. We'll be back with the Los Angeles kickoff after this. The Raiders just went a long way with Marcus Allen in the end zone for the first touchdown of the day, as they now lead the game by a score of 10-3. Don CRIQUI with John Brody. Raiders getting a lot of yards, John, and finally a touchdown.
Well, you know, generally, almost shifts. If you get the ball down there 3 times, you don't make anything from it. The game gets to 3-3. They grab the ball at 1st and 10 on their own 12-yard line. They move 88 yards for a touchdown. So you just throw out all the cliches when you talk about the Raiders.
Here we can throw the record book out the window.
You can throw anything out.
All right, the kickoff now, and this time Pruitt wisely elects not to bring it out. You'll recall Cleveland knocking him down at the 11 the last time he came out from the end zone. And it is 1st and 10 for the Cleveland Browns. Paul McDonald at quarterback. Southpaw, left armer, out of nearby Anaheim, California. Has had great success here in the stadium. Quarterback USC to 2 Rose Bowl wins at the nearby Rose Bowl in Pasadena. The national championship team used also the signal caller on. Out of the last 3 regular season games for Cleveland, they won 2. Pitch back to Charles White, and he's ahead for 3 yards. We apologize for the audio breakup. That's being worked on right now as we have 8 minutes and 51 seconds left to play in the first half.
Charles White, 5'11", about 190.
You know, you look at a runner's statistics, and so many things have an effect on what that 3.8 or 4.7 yard average means. In Cleveland, it means he's had an awfully good year, because I don't think their offensive line has moved people around like they have in the past, and it's tougher on the backs.
McDonald throwing under pressure. That's incomplete. He was trying to go to Charles White coming out of the backfield.
He's got a quality that so many head coaches would love to have, and so few do. He is the same, win, lose, or draw.
Got the program under control, and now 3rd down and a long 6. Logan comes in motion. McDonald drops to throw. Steps in, has time, lets her rip. Logan's going for the ball. Can't quite get to it at the Raider 35-yard line. Ed Watts was covering.
Well, we mentioned earlier that they'd like to get one-on-one coverage, Logan against Watts, because Logan is starting to play better, but Watts has covered him very closely all day.
Penalty, John, against the Raiders back at the line of scrimmage.
Keeps the drive alive, it appears.
That throw on a 3rd down and about 7. And the penalty will move the ball up. Now they're having an official discussion, but the initial signal was against the Raiders. And here's the mark-off. It's a big one. Must be a personal foul.
And if he keeps yelling, it'll get bigger.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 68, defense. 1st down.
Johnny Robinson from Louisiana Tech into pass rush. Those Raiders will be unnecessarily rough on occasion.
Well, they're getting there so quick.
Look at Johnny.
They're all having a little conference back there at McDonald's.
One of the Los Angeles papers said of the Raiders, they are to pro football what the Hells Angels are to motorcycle riding.
And they like it.
They do. They win 8-1. And now, though, on the personal foul call against the Raiders, the Browns get 4 new downs, trailing 10-3. McDonald steps in, but the rush is there. Sprinting in from the right outside linebacker was another Southern California player, Rod Martin.
1980 most valuable player in the Super Bowl. You saw him pick off 3 that day. In the big ball games, Rod Martin gets it done. He comes on his own, little play-action pass. They have no backs remaining to pick up Rod Martin. Both of them put the play-action run to the right side. He's coming from McDonald's left. That's his blind side. Never saw him. 2nd down and 18.
And as you see, the leading quarterback sacking team in the NFL this season, the Raiders, have 3 today in the first half. 7:50 to go in the second quarter. Raiders 10, Browns 3. 2nd down and 19 for Cleveland. McDonald throws a beautiful ball. It's caught by Ricky Feature, who's going
to knock him back to the line of scrimmage.
Ricky Feature, like a bouncing rubber ball, is hit at the 49 and knocked back to the 43. They spot the ball down for a gain of 15 yards. It was very nearly a gain of 20. Right now, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Channel 3 in Omaha, KMTV.
Ricky Feature working hard to get back to where he caught the ball.
Almost working hard to get back where he started.
The Super Bowl tournament round 1 at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Don Criqui with John Brody of the Los Angeles Raiders in black and silver in the lead, 10-3. The Browns on offense, 3rd down and 4. Here's a throw, a reception, and over the ball is dropped. Cleo Miller coming out of the backfield couldn't hold on, so Cleveland has to punt the ball. Steve Cox is in the game now to punt the ball. Cox has an average of over 53 yards a punt. They're up to 53, 2 earlier, hitting the ball very well. Back deep is Greg Pruitt, another former Brown who was traded to the Raiders on draft day, as was Lyle Alzado. Again, Cox out of Arkansas on lows, just unbelievable charge into the ball, into the end zone and out. A touchback on a 55-yard punt. And so the Raiders will go on offense at their 20 with 6:40 to play in the first half. We have 6:40 to play in the first half here at the Los Angeles Coliseum. The Los Angeles Raiders with the 8-1 record, best in the American Conference. In the lead 10-3 as Jim Plunkett has hit some big ones and also gotten 2 to the Cleveland Browns. He's been intercepted twice, drops to throw now on 1st down. Marcus Allen with people in front. And Allen from the 20 is out to the 28-yard line. Mike Robinson, a defensive end, 92, finally got him. Allen's 9 yards downfield. It's 2nd and 2 for the Raiders.
Those plays generally go for 2 yards, 3 yards. Most teams don't even use them except for outlets, unless some sort of defensive deficiency exposes itself. But with Marcus Allen, that's a very dangerous play. People better jump in and handle it. He's already made 3 receptions for 51 yards. That's a small part of the contribution, but when he gets out there, he's tough.
Dave Logan being worked down as the Raiders go to the run on 2nd and 2, and they go to Allen. Got to get to the 30, got very close to it. Marshall Harris was on the stop. Sam Ratigliano, in answer to the critics who said a losing team shouldn't be in, he said, we're only playing under the ground rules they set up. We're glad to be here.
Yeah, he said he hasn't really received any telegrams that said don't go to Los Angeles. So he said we thought we'd come out a little early, get accustomed to the sun. He said we've had a great week of work, and his viewpoint is that with a good day by their specialists, the quarterback, the wide receivers, they can beat this group. Up to now, they haven't had enough time to illustrate that.
Raiders have had the ball most of the time. Those empty seats you saw in the corner of the end zone are not sold here at the Los Angeles Coliseum. They're always empty. Right now, Plunkett signals the timeout, comes over for some counsel, and we'll break away for this message. The Miami Dolphins, 2nd seeded in the American Conference in the Super Bowl tournament, will be on the home field again next week. Should they win? Should the Raiders win again today and again next week, they would be on home field right through the American Conference Championship game, and then, of course, just go over the mountain to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena if they won that one. The January 30th Super Bowl. 3rd down, less than a yard for the Raiders. Marcus Allen gets the needed half yard and a lot more as he's across the 35-yard line, finally knocked down by Marshall Harris.
Boy, you get 2 tight ends. You stick Marcus Allen back there 7 yards in a short yardage situation. It's pretty tough to know which side to really put the most heat on. He gets all of his big linemen up in front of him. They just get any sort of penetration at all. He cuts back. picks up 5 yards. It looks like a piece of cake. 289. That's a fair summation of yardage in the first half.
That's what the Raiders had, the 122 for Cleveland. As on first down, Plunkett takes a deep drop, steps in, throws the ball, and Allen can't hold on. As Curtis Weathers, 55, was moving up on him. Our producer today for NBC is George Finkel. Our director, John Gonzalez. As we'll watch Marcus Allen in action out of the backfield.
You can watch him, and it appears as if he's doing nothing. This is his play to loaf. But you know Plunkett's got him in the back of his mind, and if something gets clogged up, he's coming out to number 32. He did on that occasion. The ball was thrown a little high. 2nd and 10.
Now, I asked Marcus Allen, John, before the game, I said, everybody questioned your speed and said you played behind a great offensive line. Did you think you were going to have a big year? He said, I was quite confident I was going to have a big year. And the nicest thing about having one, he said, is the respect that I got from a great bunch of football players here at Oakland. That means Los Angeles means a lot more than the honors. Allen gets the pitch back again and runs the ball out to the 40-yard line. The Raiders still practice in the Oakland area. Actually, every game this season anyway is a road game for them. They fly back playing the Coliseum.
Right. You expect that sort of reaction from him when you ask that sort of question. But look at the great running backs. I know they say, hey, you can't carry the ball out in your arms. That's the way you fumble it. The great running backs all held it that way. Looks like everything's in motion. They never tucked the ball in until they were about to get hit. But the uncanny thing is they all seem to know when that is. You look at number 32. He always had the ball out. It looked like you could get it, but nobody ever did.
Even when they're coming from behind.
No, he knew. I think he's got an extra eye.
A little hole in the back of the helmet. Now, the Raiders have a timeout with 3:52 to play in the first half. Let's swing back to Len in New York. Dan Bertigliano was the coach of the year. This year is a counterpart. Tom Flores of the Raiders gets it.
I get a feeling you may see Brian Sipe a little later in the day, too.
Well, he worked equally with the first team, they said, during the week. Here's Plunkett standing in and throwing. Good defense. Calvin Muhammad was the intended receiver. Plunkett throwing just before Mike Robinson. Big pass rusher, 270 pounds out of Arizona, brought him down. So the Raiders come up empty on a 3rd down and long play, and with 3:47 to play in the first half, they'll punt the ball. Ray Guy ready to punt it for the first time. It'll be his 80th postseason punt. That's an NFL record, extending his own record.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know who has 79?
That means you've been in the playoffs a few times.
That's right. I heard an interesting comment. Someone said, you know, I think the best number 1 we've ever had drafted is Marcus Allen. The only disagreement is that Raymond Guy might be the other.
Raymond Guy, probably the only punter ever drafted in the first round. There's been some punter place kickers picked in the first round, but never just a pure punter. A 37-yard punt by Ray Guy, who can double up as a quarterback. Browns down close, and subsequently they got the Matt Barr field goal.
The Raiders take a lot of chances on defense, Don, but today they guessed right at the right times, and they really haven't allowed the Browns to sustain any drives.
Dave Logan comes in motion for Cleveland. The pitch back to Charles White. He's across the 20 and out to the 30-yard line. A good look at the former Heisman Trophy winner from ground level.
Charles White made an outstanding move on Ted Hendricks. He's got arms that are so long, a lot of people think they've outrun him. He grabs them and throws them to the turf. This time he gave Hendricks a little more credit, got out around him, picked up 5-6 yards. That's one of the best first down plays the Browns have run.
And so now, on the gainer, the Browns come up to 2nd down. 2nd and 4 from the 34-yard line. Logan again in motion. There's not much there. It's Matt Millen, who is a load, and now Lyle Alzado combined on the stop.
Not yet, because there has been no offensive penetration against the defense for the Raiders. We watched Lyle Alzado. He's been in a great matchup with Doug Deacon. Been having a lot of fun. And I think it was, you mentioned earlier that guys like Alzado and Hendricks are just falling into stride right now. They haven't played so much that they're tired. Certainly playing well.
Right now, Johnny Robinson comes in as the left end to rush the passer on 3rd down and 4. Here's a throw and a completion and a first down for Cleveland.
The tough way.
Dwight Walker has made some big catches for the Browns. That was his 3rd of this day, and it's good for a first down. So Cleveland gets the ball out to their 38-yard line. Out to the 39 where they spot it down.
Takes a lot of talent to wait. This is one of those combination patterns McDonald is trying to bide a little time. Walker comes off. Mike Davis can't believe that the ball is completed. A perfectly thrown ball in the very difficult circumstances.
Now on first down, the pitch back goes to Charles White, and from way in the backfield of the Raiders, a penalty marker is thrown toward the line of scrimmage. Johnny Robinson runs down the ball carrier. Charles White with 2 minutes and 9 seconds to play. Personal foul against the Raiders. Their second of this game. So the Browns get some yards stepped off. Beneficiaries another personal foul call against Los Angeles.
Listen, I think personally that right now Cleveland is fortunate to be in this game. It's 10-3, but they've now come into the Raider territory, and they are very much in the game with 2 minutes left.
And now to NFL 82 in New York. So the #1 defense in the NFL, that of the Miami Dolphins, stops the New England Patriots. And here at Los Angeles, we have the Cleveland Browns going 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. A home run ball. A man is out there. It is caught for a touchdown for the Browns. Ricky Feature on the fly pattern beats his man Ted Watts, and the Browns now have a chance to tie it up with 2:02 to play in the first half. 43 yards and a touchdown. Feature caught the 47-yard ball against Lester Hayes, you remember earlier, and that led to the Cleveland field goal. Tied the game, and now the touchdown reception.
Well, Sam knew. He says, hey, we've got to get some big plays. We've got to get some of our real good outside receivers on number 20, Ted Watts, because you don't make a living trying Lester Hayes on the other side. Ricky Feature that time got in a one-on-one situation. McDonald has thrown the ball brilliantly in the last drive. That was a perfectly thrown ball. It's the third reception for Feature, 105 yards, and the game is tied.
With Matt Barr's extra point. So the Browns strike on the big play. Into the end zone goes Ricky Feature. Well, it's been a good one so far. Cleveland getting it when they needed it. It's been real tough down in the trenches. Look at the line play. Lyle Alzado going against Matt Miller. Miller coming in when Deacon is trouble with a fractured hand. Alzado's about as strong as there is. Bench presses, which seems to be a barometer of how strong you are. I guess it's a good one, over 500 pounds.
It is, but Matt Miller stayed in front of him for whatever. However, and that enabled McDonald to get the ball going.
Cox kicks it off. This time Pruitt takes it back from the 3. Finds a channel, and Greg Pruitt is in open field and out to the 43-yard line. So this time, the ex-Brown from Oklahoma sprints out for a 41-yard return with 1:50 to go, and the Raiders with that long ball offense with plenty of time to break the tie. When we come back to the Coliseum, where the Browns have tried the heavily favored Raiders 10-10 in the second quarter. The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. The L.A. Raiderettes, billed as the fabulous females of football.
Okay.
Steve Danz, our NBC statistician, points out that so far in the game, the Raiders have 293 yards total offense, the Browns 180, but the bottom line is a 10-10 tie here at the Coliseum. Now the Raiders go on offense with a 1st and 10 play after the kickoff return, and here goes Mr. Plunkett. Was a good runner at one time, doesn't like to anymore. 9 trips to the hospital for operations to take that out of him.
He's a good runner, and he's very effective at whatever he does, but he is a bit awkward. He can't even fall right. I mean, that time he tried to get down on the ground, and I thought he might hurt himself. I'm a big Jim Plunkett fan, but he doesn't like to fall. He looks awkward. He's like tackling a flat rock, but I'd hate to have to try and keep him out of the end zone.
Right now, he dumps it off, and Marcus Allen heads upfield, and Marcus Allen on a 1st and 10 play from the Brown 47 gets down inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. 1:07 to play and the clock running.
And the Raiders only have one timeout left on, so he'll try and get the ball in action pretty quick.
Be aware that Allen can throw the ball should they pitch back to him. Here's a throw to Malcolm Barnwell that's way too high, but it does stop the clock with 56 seconds to play.
Yeah, that'll take some of that sap out of you, but I'll take him right now. He's in a hot streak, and when he's hot, he plays extremely well. At
the Los Angeles Coliseum, this is Don CRIQUI with John Brody. The The Cleveland Browns have just struck on a 43-yard scoring pass from Paul McDonald to Ricky Feature. Jim Plunkett, number 16, the L.A. Raiders quarterback, has been intercepted twice in the first half. When he hasn't been intercepted, he's moved this offense. The Raiders with almost 300 yards total offense. The Browns able to come back and tie the game with just 55 seconds to play in the first half.
Don, something's going on goofy here. I mean, they throw the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. They've got third down and a yard and a half to go. They get back in the huddle, and all of a sudden they call a timeout. Now they don't have any left.
Touchdown.
Yeah, they help.
Plunkett so far has put it up 18 times, completed 12 for 226 yards. He's been intercepted twice. Marcus Allen scored the only Raider touchdown in a short run. Plunkett on third down and 2. Steps in, looks long, throws over the middle. He's got his tight end, Todd Christensen, and he's down to the Cleveland 27-yard line for a first down.
45 seconds left, no timeouts.
Dick Ambrose, an inside linebacker, knocked him down. The time ticking away in the second quarter. Los Angeles with a dominant number in the total offense, but the scoreboard tied at 10 as Plunkett fires again, and a play is made on the ball, a near interception. As he tries to go to Branch, Ambrose dove at the ball. That stops the clock, the incomplete pass with 30 seconds to play.
All right, when you're throwing the ball in the center of the field, it's very tough on wide receivers. Branch all the way, comes underneath Chip Banks. Just about the time he knows it's going to be a collision course. Dick Ambrose is the bigger man. He gives them a little room, and they come back to the huddle.
Chris Barr 1 for 2 on field goals. His brother, the kicker for the Cleveland Browns, across the way. They both have hit a field goal as we have a 10-10 game with 30 seconds to play now in the first half. As Plunkett stands in, loops one out. But Branch takes it down to the 20. The Browns hit him, and Clay Matthews with the tackle, and that keeps the clock running at 19 seconds and moving as the Raiders line up quickly.
They've got a play call probably to try and get it in the end zone. If not, throw it out of the stadium.
Well, he didn't throw it out of the stadium. He did get it pretty close to row A. And that will stop the clock with 9 seconds left. Maybe he wants to talk him into trying another one.
They better kick a field goal, because anything that's held in the field of play complete, it's not in the end zone, and it's fourth down. They're going to.
A dramatic contrast in the weather from the last time these two teams met in playoff competition, January 4th, 1981. Lake Erie, a bedrock of ice, and the wind swept into Cleveland Stadium when Mike Davis made the diving interception, and Tom Flores and his Raiders were en route to a Super Bowl championship. That year, the Raiders were the wild card team. This one, in the year of the Super Bowl tournament, they're the top seed. Right now, they're looking to break a 10-10 tie as Cleveland calls timeout as Chris Barr starts to set up with 9 seconds to play, looking for the final field goal.
One space that's the most difficult to get to and block the kick.
The hold will be almost 38. Good kick. Chris Barr hits it up and through, and so with 6 seconds to play in the first half, the Raiders again break a tie. This game has been tied 3-3, 10-10, and now the Raiders extend the lead to 13-10. A 3-point advantage with 6 seconds to play, the field goal from 37 yards out. Chris Barr there, an interesting journey, cut by the Cincinnati Bengals. He showed up at Oakland just in time for Super Bowl year. He got the ring.
Both Barrs are very consistent kickers.
Today, Matt hit his longest, a 52-yarder on his only attempt. Before the game, I was talking to two Barrs down the field, and Matt kept going to Chris, talking about the pressure being on the Raiders. You're the favorite. We're at ease, he said.
Yeah.
We're not expected to win.
Yeah, they try to put the heat on one another. There's enough heat from outside the family. They both seem to handle it pretty well.
They do. They have the whole program together, both out of Penn State. And now, the Raiders will kick it off. Chris Barr teeing up the ball at the 35-yard line. These two teams, actually the last time they met was in the final preseason game in August here at the Coliseum, and the Browns won handily that night, 27-10. Kick downfield, and Dino Hall keeps on working, gets across the 30, and the first half comes to an end. NFL 82 coming up, a special surprise. The Browns have to be pleased with the way they played and hit on the long ball. They're very much in the game, which a lot of people thought they would not be. As we come to halftime, Tom Flores takes his Raiders to the locker room in the lead, 13-10. Los Angeles Raiders.
That 25 yards rushing, I think, is an indication of who's winning in the line of scrimmage battle. And if it remains that way, the score will be an Oakland one-sided or a Los Angeles Raider one-sided victory. But I don't get the feeling any game stays that way throughout 60 minutes of play. So if number 16 for the Browns has a couple of good matchups, if he can get Ricky Feature one-on-one, if he can get Dave Logan one-on-one a few times in the second half, Ozzie Newsome, who is their leading receiver, gets open a few times, I think you're going to see a real close football game going right down to the wire. And a man who's been in a lot of them, Sam Rutigliano, his team is 4-5, but he feels it's a young team. It's starting to play well now for the first time all year, and he really gives them, he's looking at this whole playoff tournament as if they've got a chance, and it's not for me to say they don't.
Well, they're in it, so they do have a chance. Chris Barr ready to kick it off now for the Raiders. Dino Hall is back deep for the Cleveland Browns. Mark Kafensis is back with him. Here is Barr into the football. Hits it hard. It'll carry down to the goal line, and Dino Hall brings it back to the 10, 15, 20, 30. Down the channel along the near sideline, and Dino Hall gets it out for a big return of 33 yards. Now Paul McDonald and the Cleveland offense comes out. Mike Pruitt and Charles White, the running backs. The Browns have not gotten much running yardage. Logan and Feature, who had a great first half. Ricky Feature of the wideouts. Ozzie Newsome caught one big pass. The pass blocking for the most part has been good. Matt Miller's been in for Doug Deacon, who's playing with an injured hand at left tackle. Robert Jackson, Mike Babb, Joe DeLamielleure, and Cody Reisner. And so from the 32-yard line, Cleveland goes on offense, 1st and 10. Charles White weaves his way ahead, gets across the 35-yard line. Gain of close to 4 yards on the play. Defensively, Howard Long, Reggie Kinlaw, and Lyle Alzado. Alzado says Kinlaw is the best nose tackle he's ever seen. Linebackers, consensus, Pro Bowler all the time. Hendricks, Matt Millen, and Bob Nelson, the inside backers. Rod Martin, who came up with a big sack from the outside linebacker position. The corners, Hayes and Watts, are two of the best, but they've been beaten by Feature. Each has in the first half. Davis and Burgess Owens, the safeties for the Raiders. 2nd down for McDonald and the Browns. A throw to Charles White, who gets out to the 40. He'll be well short of a first down, brings up 3rd down about 3.
White walks back to the huddle, number 77, Lyle Alzado, and Matt Miller at this time. Deacon could not continue. They're having it doesn't matter who Alzado plays against, they seem to get after it pretty well. I'm sure in the locker room, the Browns knew they were beaten at the line of scrimmage. They had some discussion about that fact. They're trying to move people around right now. 3rd down and 2. This is a big time to test them.
They go to the pitch back to Mike Pruitt, and the Browns lost ahead, and they get out to the 45-yard line, so it's a 1st down for Cleveland on the Mike Pruitt carry.
Twice in the first half they had 3rd down and 2. They forgot to pick up those 2 extra yards. They've moved people around about as well as they have all day. Not really backwards, but they've given their backs a chance to go through the cracks that were created. 1st and 10 on the 45-yard line. The Browns are 3 points down and trying to get back in it.
Ricky Feature is out to the left. At the top of your screen, not that far on the flank, as Logan goes in motion and brings Lester Hayes with him. Raiders drop their corners way back now as McDonald fires. He has a man open. It's Ricky Feature, who's down to the 36-yard line. He was hit and driven back from there, but Feature with another reception on Ted Watts this time. Ricky Feature brings the Browns to another 1st down.
Again, a play-action pass, Don. They have picked up a 1st down on 3 running plays. They get a little respect from the linebackers who are standing underneath. That's Bob Nelson, 51, who was suckered just a little bit by the play-action pass, allowing McDonald to go over the top. 1st and 10 on the 36-yard line.
Ricky Feature having a career day here for Cleveland. You see the average catch, 31 yards on his 4 receptions. McDonald wants some more. Here's a hard-thrown ball and a strike to Charles White. Down to the 25-yard line. He has another Brown 1st down.
White was an outlet. He wanted to go over the middle, wasn't open, hit White on dead stride as a second thought.
Browns Browns moving from the 25. Again, Logan brings Lester Hayes to the other side in motion. Here's a pitch back, and White runs high with a cut-back run. He's to the 19-yard line. And Cleveland moving well. It's first possession here in the third quarter. Browns with their most impressive offense. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited.
We're going to take a shot of Howie Long, the man who Lyle Alzado said there's no telling how good he could be. They've run the ball on him 3 times in this drive. He's an excellent player, but he's the one that's being moved around at the moment.
McDonald throwing again, an out pattern just over the outstretched fingers of Ozzie Newsome. Mike Davis defending, so Paul McDonald, after hitting his first 3 passes of the third quarter, is now 3 for 4 for 30 yards.
It's just getting a little bit tougher.
Howie Long, a second-round draft choice out of Villanova. They retired his number. In fact, they retired everybody's. They dropped football. Long says, don't tell him that, though. Dave Logan's not caught a pass yet today for Cleveland. Right now, the Browns with 3rd down and 4. Alzado might have left early. We'll see if he was drawn offside. His penalty markers go down. Mike threw it Terry, but not very far.
If he did, if it was on Alzado and he wasn't drawn offside, it was an excellent play by Paul McDonald because he took a little bit longer to get the ball off. That's just like a turnover. The good quarterbacks create things that go unnoticed to keep their drives alive. That's what Paul McDonald's done since early in the second quarter. He's played outstanding football. Amazing to me for a guy playing in his first playoff game.
Offside. 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 77 defense. First down.
Lyle's saying to himself, get it out and over with, will you, ref? Prolong it. So on the penalty against Alzado and the Raiders, there's a mark-off good for a Cleveland first down. Browns down to the Raider 14-yard line. And now McDonald sees something he didn't like in the Raider defense. There's a lot not to like about that if you're an opposing quarterback. Sam Ratigliano watching his Browns on a sustained drive to open the third quarter. 11-11 left to play as the Browns have driven down to the Raiders' 14-yard line, 1st and 10.
You know what we noticed? We noticed that Paul McDonald's 10 for 19, almost 200 yards, and he's throwing a very low percentage type pass, trying to get to his wide receivers downfield, trying to get the big plays.
He's hit some big ones, particularly the feature, who has averaged 31 yards a catch on 4 receptions. Hand off, and Charles White runs right into Alzado. Charles at 185 not going to win that matchup.
Oh, I think there's a fumble.
There is a fumble. And the Raiders apparently have the ball. The Los Angeles Raiders get the ball. Jeff Barnes is credited with it. And the Coliseum comes alive as Los Angeles comes up with a big defensive play.
Okay, good play by Kinlaw. He stuffs up the middle. It allows his linebackers, and in this case, Lyle Alzado, to penetrate into the hole. He hits Charles White where he doesn't like to be hit, right on the ball. It goes to the Raiders, and they've got a big turnover.
11:05 to play in the third quarter here at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Alzado on the left, 77, just forced a fumble on a hard hit of Charles White. Jeff Barnes, a 250-pound linebacker, fell on the loose ball, and the Raiders stopped the Cleveland drive. Now Los Angeles goes to the run on the slant. Marcus Allen carries not very far. The Los Angeles Raiders on offense with Jim Plunkett at quarterback, Kenny King and Marcus Allen, his runners. Cliff Branch and Malcolm Barnwell, 2 sprinters at the wide receiver positions, and Todd Christensen, the tight end. Bruce Davis, Kurt Marsh, Dave Dalby, Mickey Marvin, and Henry Lawrence, the offensive blocking line for Plunkett. He's been sacked once in the game. Raiders had 3 first-half sacks of Paul McDonald. At 2nd and 8, it's to Marcus Allen. A skip move and a slide up the middle, and Allen's out across the 15, out close to the 18-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and short yardage.
Nifty little 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 2.
Marcus, number 32, the leading rusher in the game with 51 yards on 12 carries and the touchdown. The only touchdown of the game for the Raiders. They also had 2 Chris Barr field goals to take a 13-10 halftime lead. Kenny King turns the corner and gets out to the 25-yard line. He has a first down for Los Angeles. Now, while we have a moment, let's go back to NFL 82 in New York. Doing drinks for those Patriots down in Miami. But Buffalo had a bad run down there. Thank you, Mike. As the Dolphins extend their lead, home field and the form chart holding up so far, although this is a close one, the closest of the day of the 4 opening games. The Raiders leading 13-10 with a first down. Marcus Allen, a great change of pace move. He's a combination power runner and cutback runner. Clarence Scott, the strong free safety, finally knocked him down.
And Frank Hawkins was the lead blocker this time, number 27. Watch him leading Marcus Allen. Now, this is the kind of block that sets your back up to do about anything he wants. He keeps the pursuit from picking him up at the hole and not touching him until he gets about 7 or 8 yards. He also hit, when he made that block, Don, he's got a very good defensive back in Clinton Burrell standing over there hurting.
Clinton Burrell, the strong safety. Clarence Scott was the strong safety. They moved him over to free this year. So Burrell goes to the sidelines.
I can remember Clarence Scott as a first-round draft choice. We got to play against him his first play. He was a cornerback, so he's been all over the place.
You remember the L.A. Coliseum. How many times you play here?
35.
Here's Plunkett throwing the ball. It's caught. Frank Hawkins comes out of the backfield. A second-year player from Nevada at Reno. And the Raiders have another first down. On the tackle was number 20, Judson Flint. Marshall Harris, Bob Golick, and Mike Robinson, the defensive front three. Chip Banks, Rookie of the Year, Tom Cousineau, Dick Ambrose, and Clay Matthews back in the starting lineup after an ankle injury. Bolton and Dixon at the corners. Burrell and Scott are the safeties. Ball's advanced to the Los Angeles 40-yard line. Plunkett, deep dropping all day. Arcs one out. He's got a man. Marcus Allen comes out of the backfield. Ron Bolton hit him. The play they talk about, the Raider players, that was just hard to believe when they look back at it on film against Atlanta. Allen picked up a blitz, knocked the linebacker who was coming. There's Clinton Burrell, who was shaken up, being attended to. Knocked the Atlanta linebacker flat on his back with his block. Then swung out of the backfield, caught a pass from Plunkett and went 17 yards through 3 tacklers for a touchdown. They thought they had Superman wearing 32.
Well, they might. They've got about as close to it as we've seen. You get the feeling he stands in the huddle, and after the play is called, he says, Jim, if you get in trouble, I'll be on the right side. I'll be on the left side. They could probably go up and down the field that way.
Plunkett always knows where he is, and he always goes to him. And here's Allen carrying from scrimmage. On a second and short yardage play, he did get across midfield where he had to go for another Raider first down.
Has been able to stop today, and that's why Allen's total yardage is 132 right now.
Running and catching the ball, you see, with 63 yards rushing. First down and 10, Los Angeles, just across midfield. Raiders lead 13-10. Christensen swings across. That's a great Raider play over the years. Used to be Dave Casper that come that way.
Don Cousineau was in a blitz situation, was not touched. He came free. He had a little game that was being played with his defensive lineman. Take a look. He goes around, gets to Plunkett. He says, oh, baby, for the first time today. But good quarterbacks know when the blitz is on. He got to his receiver, Christensen, real quick. Even when they come free, you can't get a good quarterback if he's alert.
And they didn't get him, and Plunkett did get Christensen with the throw, and it's close enough to measure. Christensen, out of the tight end positions, caught 4 now for 53 yards. Few inches short of the first down with 7:09 to play in the third quarter. So the Raiders have second and short coming up. Right now we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is KMTV Omaha.
Super Bowl tournament round 1. The Los Angeles Raiders, best team in the American Conference in the regular season, with an 8-1 record and a decided favorite coming in, leading by just 3 points, 13-10. They just stopped Cleveland on a fumble recovery after the Browns drove downfield. Now Jim Plunkett going long to Christensen, who catches the ball at the 10 and is splattered and down at the 8-yard line. But the Raiders now, with the big gainer, are ready to challenge for the end zone again.
That was such a beyond the call of duty catch. It was made possible by a real good look-off from Jim Plunkett. When he went back to throw, you take a look. He'll look to the left side. See this? He knows he's going down to Christensen, but he's taking care of the safety. They couldn't get in the play. He had to throw it just perfectly. It was good coverage. Bolton could not get to the ball in time. And
Christensen.
Todd is up and about, but not too gingerly.
Todd Christensen with a 31-yard gainer. So the Raiders driving the ball on their first possession. Plunkett now has thrown 28 times. Has completed 17 for 299 yards. With 6 minutes left to be played in the third quarter. The Los Angeles Raiders have the ball. Marcus Allen drives inside the 10-yard line and down inside the 5. This is Don Criqui with John Brody. As the Cleveland Browns open the third quarter with a long drive, but then Charles White was stuck hard by Lyle Alzado, fumbled the ball, and the Raiders started the other way. And now after a long pass play, a 31-yarder to tight end Todd Christensen. And the run by Marcus Allen, you just saw the Raiders have the ball inside the Cleveland 5-yard line. Second down and goal from there. Raiders a decided favorite coming in, holding to a 3-point lead, 13-10. 5 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the third quarter. Marcus Allen, the eye back. Greg Pruitt also in the backfield, and he takes the ball down close to the 3-yard line. Former Cleveland Brown Greg Pruitt.
John, we've seen them push the Cleveland defense all over the field for the best part of 3 quarters. Now that we've got 5 minutes left in the third quarter, but they still only have a 3-point lead. They have moved the ball up the length of the field on this trip. This is a very important 3rd down and 3 for a touchdown. I think if they come away with 3 points here, it is going to hurt them. I've been saying that all game long. They've been dominating the game and not the scoreboard. I think they better score a touchdown here if they want to stay out in front.
The Raiders coming off the big win last week at San Diego that got them in. And now Marcus Allen goes in for his second touchdown of the game. On this field primarily was the track that Marcus Allen used to rush for an NCAA record of over 2,300 yards last season as a Southern California senior, now as a rookie in the NFL. The Pro Bowl, Rookie of the Year, and first-team All-Pro honors are his, as Allen scores his second touchdown of the day, his 16th of the season.
Just another day at the plant for number 32. He goes right behind Henry Lawrence and Mickey Marvin and Todd Christensen. Just outstanding line blocking. 65 is Marvin, 46 is Christensen. They push the defense on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Makes it easy for the back.
Chris Barr hits the point after, and with 4:30 left to play in the third quarter, the Raiders capitalize on the fumble recovery at their end of the field after Cleveland looked like they were going in to go ahead. Now Marcus Allen takes it in at the other end, and the Raiders open up a 19-12 lead. It's 20-12 with the extra point, 20-10. The Raiders drive 89 yards after the fumble recovery by Jeff Barnes. Marcus Allen again on the payoff end for his second touchdown of the day. And again, the favorite takes command, 20-10 here in the third quarter. Dino Hall fields the kickoff at the 7. Not big, but he works his way out to the 26-yard line where former Brown Clee Montgomery knocks him down. And so the Browns go back on offense. Marcus Allen having another big day. Every day is a big day for Marcus. First and 10 play, and the Browns go quickly. Getting the ball to Ozzie Newsome for a 13-yard gain. Here is Clinton Burrell, who sustained what might be a separated shoulder. It's unlikely he'll be back today. The strong safety for the Browns.
They stated dislocation, and that can't be good, Donnie.
Usually don't come back the same day with one of those. Clinton Burrell, a hard hitter out of LSU. And now the Browns go to the run. Their fullback, Mike Pruitt, carries the ball on first down to the 42-yard line. 3:33 left to play in the third quarter. Those of you who are watching Miami will go back to that game now. We continue right here at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Who that is, but it's like the Raiders got after him.
I don't know.
Some unusual ones.
Yeah, we get them all down here.
Lotus Land. Here is a handoff to Pruitt on second down and 7. He gets out to the 45-yard line. Lyle Alzado knocked him down. Alzado with a big defensive play earlier. There's Brian Sipe, John.
And I got to think something has to do with him being on the bench. You take a look at the line of scrimmage. If he's got to say, oh, let me play with Jim Plunkett's spot just for a couple of weeks, because they're ruling the line of scrimmage. He's got Marcus Allen. Anything he calls looks good, okay? It's easy to be brilliant that way. Brian Sipe has been the core of the Cleveland Brown offense for several years. He finally gets in a streak where he's not throwing it quite as well, and he's sitting on the bench. Let's see what Paul McDonald can do. His group's 10 points down, and he's 3rd and 4.
He looks and throws, and he's got Pruitt for a first down and plenty more as Mike Pruitt, coming out of the backfield, gets inside the Raider 45-yard line. But there is a penalty marker down in the Cleveland backfield. Alzado thinks he was held. Here's the referee, Bob McElwee. That's the first Cleveland penalty. Played a good game from that standpoint. Trailing 20-10 in the third quarter.
Holding, number 71, offense, 3rd down.
Alzado was right.
Miller was called for it.
Well, you know, there are plus points to playing the way Alzado does, because he's always talking to the official, and if you get the official's attention and the man is holding you, it can be beneficial. That was a perfect illustration.
Now the Browns go 3rd down and 15. There's a swing out of the backfield. Pruitt heading upfield, and a good open field tackle made. Rod Martin the first to hit him. Then virtually everybody in the Raider defense gets a piece.
All right, this is a perfect illustration. Number 82, Ozzie Newsome, is their big play guy, right? But they can't get a pass off 15 yards down the field unless they keep their tight end in. So what do? Number 82's in there blocking, folks. There he is. He's not out in the passing lane. That is a real restriction for a quarterback, and they still almost sacked him. 75, Howie Long made a real good force. Rod Martin gets a piece, and the rest of the secondary picks him up.
Benny Hill, number 48, an extra defensive back out of Yale, was also on the stop. And now Cox punts. Had to hurry it. Gets it downfield. Greg Pruitt takes it, and momentum takes him across the sideline. So a 40-yard punt. No return with just 1:27 to play in the third quarter. The Raiders, who drove 89 yards for a touchdown their last possession, take over 1st and 10. 80 degrees and sunny in Southern California. 56,000 at the Los Angeles Coliseum, where the Raiders on the home field, leading 20-10.
Who took that shot?
No-shows, a little over 6,000. Only 600 no-shows were pulled now. Plunkett steps in to throw and wings it out. Christensen again, who drops in into that deep coverage and stands alone. Curtis Weathers, 55, knocked him down, but the Raiders get more to their tight end. More AFC playoff action coming up tomorrow here on NBC. Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where the Steelers on the home field go against the high-scoring offense of the San Diego Chargers. Charlie Jones and Len Dawson are at Cincinnati, where the Bengals are ready to meet up with the New York Jets.
I think they're not tough. They go to the Super Bowl, and I think they've improved.
Bengals,
I think they've improved as a team.
83 points in the last 3 weeks. Could be high scoring at Cincinnati. A swing pass goes out to Marcus Allen. Ron Bolton hits him as the ball comes in. But on second and short yardage, the Raiders are again ahead for a first down.
To do that. He's thrown it on first down. He's completed almost everything he's thrown. Or when he has thrown the outlet patterns to Marcus Allen, he's picked up 7 or 8 yards. Or when they run the ball on first down, he picks up 7 or 8 yards. So it's just been a lot of fun with number 32 and number 16, who's 20 for 30 right now for 314 after 3 quarters.
And the third quarter comes to an end with the Raiders in command, 20-10. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. So far today, the Raiders have been doing it best. They're leading 20-10, but we've got a long way to go as we open the fourth quarter. Raiders leading 20-10 with a first down play, and Plunkett looking for it all. He goes to Malcolm Barnwell. Ron Bolton right with him. Bolton had some problems with Lynn Swan last Sunday at Pittsburgh, but he's done well today.
You want to know why Plunkett's having his best day in a playoff game? 314 yards, the first time he's ever thrown for more than 300 yards in a game. Take a look at Bob Golick. He's trying to get to Plunkett. Number 50, Dave Dalby, who won his starting job back, has had an excellent year in '82. Mickey Marvin finally spins around, Golick around. He didn't get 2 steps past the line of scrimmage. Sure is fun to operate if you're a quarterback under those conditions.
They have been taking good care of Plunkett, having time to throw the long ball. They throw a lot of balls.
Or the short ball, or any kind of ball you like. He could have a ball.
Gives right into the hat. Takes his pick. Here is Plunkett gunning it down. It's Cliff Branch wisely looking at the defense coming in. Clarence Scott came up. The chalk, as they say in the vernacular, holding up here on opening day. The favorites all with big leads. The closest game is right here.
That's right. You can sit there. You take the best team. You say, okay, fellas, you get to play at home, and you other guys are going to have to show us you're up to that level. Nobody's been able to do it today.
Washington and Green Bay winning in the National Conference earlier. Los Angeles Raiders and Miami Dolphins leading, and on the home field in the AFC opening game. Here is a pass to Malcolm Barnwell. He's a sprinter. Clinton Burrell came back in the game and made a saving tackle at the 40-yard line. Gain of 24 yards on the play. One thing interesting, John, about these Raiders, virtually everybody that handles the ball as a backer or wide receiver has been a track man someplace at one time.
Yep. It's their 21st first down, but you take a look at Barnwell. Now, he just leaves 4 Browns in a position where they can't do a thing. They just get caught up with one another. Great acceleration once he catches the ball. You find a guy that can catch the ball in the middle and has that kind of speed, you've got to find.
All the Raider wideouts are about the same size, 5'11", 185. All can burn. Hard throw and a strike to Cliff Branch. Good move, and he's down inside the 25-yard line. First down, Los Angeles.
You take a look at a small thing. The block by Frank Hawkins in the middle of the 3rd quarter that put Clinton Burrell out of the ball game with a dislocation, all right? They've been hurting a little bit at cornerback anyway, okay, all year long. Now they're forced into playing defenses that are standard. When they do that, Plunkett just takes his pick out wide. When they lay off 7 and 8 yards of the wide receivers, there's no reason for a quarterback of his caliber with the receivers he has to do anything else but throw the ball out to the sides. He's doing it, and they're just marching up and down the field. Great play by Hawkins early.
And that cordon of blockers sealing off the Cleveland rush. Plunkett was sacked once in the first half. They haven't been near him since. Here's a throw to the end zone, and it's tipped away at the last moment. Big play by Judson Flint, a second-year player out of Memphis State. Branch was open, but Flint made the play, and this is the 3rd time that Cleveland's done that. Judson Flint, an extra defensive back in the Cleveland lineup. Over the years, the Browns and the Raiders have played 8 times. The Raiders have won 7. 2nd and 10. Greg Pruitt runs for Los Angeles and comes inside the 20 and down close to the 15-yard line. Chip Banks got in. They stay between the sidelines. Banks usually will.
Yeah, he will, but he had to come from the left side to force that play out of bounds on the right. Remember, that's Greg Pruitt's first carry of the afternoon, Donnie, and he's been a great one for years, so many years with the Browns. Alzado and Pruitt come out to the Raiders, and the Raiders look like they might be the #1 team in football. It's got to be a real pleasure trip for those two.
Pruitt's got to be the biggest 5'9", 195 that ever lived. He looks like Superman. He doesn't need pads. 3rd and short yardage to the run, and Frank Hawkins carries. He's got the first down and heads all the way down to the 5-yard line. So the Raider dominance now very much illustrated by the forward blocking and then the run by Hawkins. Big hole and big run for 10 yards. Raider first down, 1st and goal.
Well, you can't stop it all. Now, here's the 2nd-year player out of Nevada, Reno, that gets a good hole. He's created some for Marcus Allen throughout the afternoon. The three backs, Kenny King, Frank Hawkins, and Marcus Allen, are just taking their pick. It's kind of hard. They don't have enough balls in the huddle when things are going this way for your offense, so Plunkett can call any play he wants.
Frank Hawkins, first carry for Frank, and good for 10 yards. And the Raiders leading 20-10 with 12:50 to go. Threatening once more. Right back to the money. Marcus Allen goes over the top and down to the 1-yard line. Tom Cousineau stopped him just short of the goal line. Allen was the first back since Gale Sayers in 1965 to lead the NFL in scoring in a season. Been place kickers ever since. He had 14 regular season touchdowns, 2 today, and almost a third here.
Look at that. They're being met 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. You talk about who's doing it. Take a look at number 46. We've seen him make a couple of outstanding receptions. Here, he takes on Chip Banks, who's the Rookie of the Year in the AFC. Gets him out of the play, and they're down to the 1.
Could be Marcus Allen again. 2nd and goal. Hawkins gets the call. Marcus Allen blocks. He can do that, too, and Hawkins goes in for a Raider touchdown. So the Los Angeles Raiders, in what was a tight game, 13-10, they led at halftime, break it open here in the second half and extend their lead to 26-10. The Raiders rolling now as Hawkins goes in for the score.
Another all-purpose type running back, a la Van Egan, Hubbard, you name them. That's the type of people they've had here. They get a guy like Marcus Allen, and that really puts a plus point on their board. I don't know how you stop him. I've watched him play twice. 49ers tried. Didn't stop him in a whole afternoon. I can't see where Cleveland's done anything either.
Chris Barr again hits the extra point. And the Raiders open up a 27-10 lead with 12 minutes left to play in the game. We'll be back. Thank you, Mike. Back here at the Los Angeles Coliseum, the Raiders on a very workmanlike professional drive of 80 yards in 11 plays, with Frank Hawkins slanting off tackle into the end zone for the touchdown. And the powerhouse team of the American Conference this season, the Raiders, open up a 27-10 lead. And now the kickoff. Here comes Dino Hall. Out across the 30, and a penalty marker comes in. And down goes Dino. Kickoff man Chris Barr actually got him. 11:49 to play. Hold is signaled against Cleveland.
It all started to go downhill in the second half after the first drive, opening the half when the Browns looked as if they were really threatening down about the 12, 15-yard line.
Holding number 58 on the return team. First down.
And Charles White fumbled on a first down carry, and it's been all downhill since that time for the Browns.
Raiders with some impressive drives. You see where they went for their touchdowns. Long distance, 88, 89, and the last one 80 yards in 11 plays. 1st and 10, Cleveland. There's the rush by Howie Long. McDonald eludes it. He's going to run, and he better hurry. Saved by the 12th man.
And sometimes that 12th fella doesn't get in your view quick enough.
The Raiders hold up, and it would take something extraordinary to keep them from doing that. They'll be on the home field next weekend for round 2 of the Super Bowl tournament, and so will Miami be on the home field at the Orange Bowl.
Well, stranger things have happened, and particularly to Cleveland. If you're a fan of the Cleveland Browns, you know that in 1980, I think they won about 7 games in the last 2 minutes of play, but now they've got to play awfully well to get into a position where a great play would help.
Raiders have the Browns offense where they want it, where they have to throw. A penalty marker goes down as there's a throw downfield by McDonald, and very nearly in the hands of Burgess Owens.
A little confusion right there.
Coach Rutigliano waiting to see what the call is. It's referee McElwee.
You know, you take a look at coaches, and Sam Rutigliano is one of those who grows very well on anybody that he's around.
Illegal motion. 2 backs in motion against the offense. 2nd down.
And as he looks out on the field, you know he doesn't like that sort of confusion, but he can handle it. You know, when things are, sometimes you see the greatness of people when it isn't going quite as well for them. And he started off with a bang, and these last couple of years have been rebuilding types, and he's going to be back.
McDonald on 2nd down and 8 throws the ball the sideline pattern way to the other side. Dwight Walker, who had 3 first-half receptions, catches it, and Hendricks is there to knock him down. Now you see the running dominance of Marcus Allen out-rushing the whole Cleveland Brown running game. It's been mostly a passing game, and now on 3rd and 1, they go to the throw and get a first down. Ozzie Newsome catches the ball on Rod Martin.
And you notice that Rod Martin is very close to Ozzie Newsome, all right? Now, all day long, if you're a quarterback, you sometimes miss open receivers. But let's take a look at the defensive secondary for the Raiders. And there aren't an awful lot of people open, and there haven't been all day long. And when there have been open receivers, he's hit them. Take a look at this throw to Ozzie Newsome on the left side. Just a couple of specks on your screen, but there isn't a lot of separation between Newsome and the linebacker.
Blint gave us that aerial view. Now McDonald is swept under. Fourth time he's been sacked. Howie Long finished him off. A 275-pound defensive end from Villanova just ran over the tackle.
I think that, Howie Long, it looks like he's going to be a great defensive end. In defeat again. You take a look at Paul McDonald. He hasn't made a big mistake all day long for the Browns. He's taken those 4 sacks. He's come up off the ground. He's continued to throw the ball and throw it very well. He's another quarterback of the future.
The 4th sack, minus 38 yards. Raider defense putting the heat down. This time McDonald gets time to gun it downfield. He has Logan for the first time, and Dave Logan's out across the 45. Well-thrown ball, and Dave Logan coming off the left flank, cutting over the middle, makes a 26-yard reception.
And that's what we're talking about when we say, okay, he takes his lick, he gets off the grass, hangs in there, and looks down the field. There are a lot of quarterbacks who take that sort of beating, and they start finding different things. They don't see the same clarity that they can see when they're having a nice, easy time of it. But this guy seems to go back the same way every play. Hangs in there, got a pretty good pass rush, puts it over the linebacker and right into Logan's hands. That's a first down.
9:10 to play in the clock running. Cleveland trailing the Raiders 27-10. Free ball. Looks like the Browns had it.
Oh, my. Lyle Alzado got a piece of Paul McDonald in his throwing motion.
Mike Babb, the center, fell on the ball. Alzado comes in like a freight train.
Well, look at
one direction.
This wasn't. This was Rod Martin. I was wrong. Number 53 got McDonald before he could get the ball up and away. Went as a fumble. Good alert play by Babb, kept control of it.
So the ball is at the Cleveland 38-yard line, and now the Browns have it second down and 18. McDonald not been intercepted, as you see. Steps in, guns it hard. He's got his man, Ricky Feature, and Feature's ahead and almost broke it. He's down to the 39-yard line of the Raiders.
Looks like a holding penalty down back there. You can see the offensive line is not moving up the field.
Can take the fun out of the big play.
Well, Alzado has intimidated not only the defensive line, but maybe a few others. That's the second call. I don't know if this one's on Matt Miller, but I get the feeling it is.
Holding, number 73, offense, second down.
Well, we've got 8 guys down there that can in the striped shirts.
Or are responsible to.
Second and long yardage, second and 28. There's the throw downfield and almost intercepted. Feature couldn't make a play on it. It was too high, and Ted Watts almost had it. Ricky Feature came to the Browns as a free agent. 1976.
Well, they know in Mississippi.
Yes, sure they do. And they turn out some good football players. 29-yard line. I think the Cowboys had an all-pro tackle out of that school.
Okay.
I can't think of his name.
That's 2 of us.
Third down and 28. Great reception by Dwight Walker. Went to the moon to get it on 3rd and 28. He got 22 of it back.
Wait a minute. Now you see an official coming in all the way from the line of scrimmage to give him the "I don't think you caught it" routine, and they're taking it all the way back to the line of scrimmage. We've got to, let's see what kind of an angle we can get in this play. You see again, McDonald goes back there. He's still firing that ball down the field. The only chance that they have. Let's see if we can catch the end of it. He's got it now. Nope. I guess it hit the ground, never had control.
Fourth down and 28. 7:56 to go it is, and Steve Cox into punt now for Cleveland. Hitting the ball well here in Southern California. Not too deep this time. Pruitt will run it back. Greg Pruitt to the 40. And Pruitt on a 38-yard punt returns it 9 yards, and so the Los Angeles Raiders go back on offense in command of the game 27-10 with 7:45 to play when we come back. The Raiders breaking up a close game at halftime with 2 second-half touchdowns to take a 27-10 lead. Don Criqui with John Brody. John, these Raiders just have too much right now. They're just overpowering Cleveland up front where it counts.
Well, to me, I mean, they've always had aspects of their football team that were overpowering, but I haven't seen a weakness today. I mean, every area you take a look at is dominant. You know, offensive line, defensive line, running backs. They can play everybody on their roster right now, and they seem to drop none.
Giving some new people some work. Chester Willis runs the ball for the Raiders. From Auburn, they've turned out some great runners, particularly in the recent years. Joe Cribbs and William Andrews in one backfield. Chester Willis was around also. And now, the Raiders holding to the big lead with a 2nd down and 9 play coming up.
There's Coos.
Tom Cousineau. 3 of the Cleveland defensive starters are from Cleveland, Ohio.
Well, they're not going to get any smaller either.
He's played well today, though, Cousineau. So have the Raiders as they lead it 27-10. Plunkett throws it out in the flat. Greg Pruitt working for some yards and gets to midfield. Knocked down by Mike Robinson. Game clock down to 6:14 to play. More AFC playoff action coming up tomorrow on NBC. The Steelers and the Chargers meet up at Pittsburgh, Three Rivers Stadium. And then at Cincinnati, Ohio at Riverfront. The Bengals and all that offense and the NFL's #1 passer, Ken Anderson, hook up with the New York Jets, who are coming off an uninspired showing in the final regular season game, but who promise they will be ready tomorrow.
And they've got a group that can get ready.
Joe Klecko comes back tomorrow, the all-pro defensive end. Marty Lyons, the tackle's ready to go. And I'm sure all the Jets will be, as will the Bengals.
I'll be watching.
Ray Guy hunts the ball downfield. Dwight Walker takes it for Cleveland. Gets to the 15. Derek Jensen made the cover as the punt traveled 45 yards and the return was 10. So right now, we have a break in play here at Los Angeles Coliseum. The Raiders 27, the Browns 10. Browns with the ball and only a faint hope of advancing in the playoffs. We found out, John, today why those good teams were on the home field to start the playoffs.
You got it chalked as dominant.
Big winners at home in all 4 games. Here's McDonald throwing and intercepted almost by Jeff Barnes, who you remember had that fumble recovery early in the 3rd quarter when the Browns drove right down the field after taking the kickoff. This could very well be a different ball game. The Browns drove it down to the 13-yard line. Miami winning 28-13. Charles White hit by Alzado, fumbled the ball, and it was recovered by Barnes, and the drive was stopped. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Dolphins and the New England Patriots. Miami advancing with that win. This is Don Criqui with John Brody at the Los Angeles Coliseum. The Cleveland Browns stayed close through the first half. They trailed at halftime 13-10. Now as McDonald guns it long on an incomplete pass. The Raiders have been dominant, though, in the second half, outscoring Cleveland 14-0. The Raiders with long drives in this game, 88 yards, 89 yards, and 80 yards for touchdowns. McDonald, a former Southern California Trojan who played so well here at the Coliseum.
In the future, but this is when it really is a lot of fun to be a quarterback. There he is back there throwing end-over-end balls. The defensive linemen are in their starting blocks, and you have 2 chances, none and none.
You've got an interesting outlook on a good time, John. If this is fun.
That's what I mean. I think you picked it up.
5:05 left to go in the game as McDonald comes up short on 3rd down and Cox is in to punt again. The Raiders this season continue to practice in the Oakland area, so really every game they play involves a plane trip. They fly back and practice in Oakland and come down, play their home games here in the Los Angeles Coliseum, where there's 57,000 here today. Lyle Alzado, the ex-Brown, has had an excellent game for Los Angeles today. This is the 5th punt of the game for Steve Cox. Greg Pruitt, an ex-Cleveland Brown, is waiting back deep now for the Raiders. I think they're hoping for an offside. That's not going to happen as the Raiders wait. Cox kicks. Hits it well. Drives Pruitt back to his 35-yard line. Cleveland gets him at the 45. A 49-yard punt by Cox with 4:53 left to play. 2 years ago, Retigliano was Coach of the Year. This year, Tom Flores is on the right, a man who wears his success very well. As Jim Plunkett said, when he moved up to succeed John Madden, Tom Flores never changed a bit, and we all appreciated that. And he certainly gets the Raiders to play for him, just as they did for Madden. And the great tradition of the Raiders continues as they're winning here today, 27-10. Frank Hawkins carries, and Mike Robinson's on the tackle on a first down carry.
You know, it's funny, when you look at Tom Flores, you say, you know, a lot of people misread expression and emotion. I mean, Tom Flores is an extremely emotional person, but not very expressive. And once in a while he lets it out. But I think it's very important for a head coach to be stable. And if there's one quality that he has head and shoulders, that's stability.
Well, Flores assesses himself, says, I probably say less than most head coaches, but they know what I mean. Gets his point across. On 2nd down and 8, the Raiders run the ball again as they continue to run the clock. Also, that's down to 4:10 to play. Favorites holding up. Dominating, really, on the home fields on this opening day of the Super Bowl tournament. 3rd down and 7 for the Raiders. Plunkett with men running deep. Throws it out near flank, and he gets a tight end in Derek Ramsey. Ramsey getting his first reception of the day, and he's ahead for a first down.
His first reception of the year, Donnie. We just discussed the fact that he hadn't had one all year. You can see the smile.
He had over 50 last year.
That's right. He had 53. But this is a one-on-one situation. Plunkett still likes to fire that ball. The game hasn't ended, so let's go after it. Ramsey carries number 20, Judson Flint, forward for about 6, and they've got another first down, and they might just run the game out right here.
2:50 to play, and the Raiders break the huddle with the ball at the Cleveland 30-yard line. Los Angeles in the lead, 27-10. To the run, and to Greg Pruitt. Gets a chance to go against his old mates, the Browns. He takes it to the 25. Lyle Alzado had an interesting observation before the game. I asked him what the difference playing in the Raider organization is from other places. He said the one thing you really notice is that they'll fit the game plan to the people. They never try to force the people into a game plan.
And I think it's been a trademark of Al Davis. They get good people and find a way to utilize them and their best abilities. And he says, I like it much better that way, too. He said, you know, his qualities are those that he says, I get after it. I'm a good pass rusher, but I really don't need to play all 16 games, 60 minutes a game. And since we only have 9 games this year, he says, I like it very much.
Well, Flores said when he came in, they weren't sure just how healthy he was. He'd had some knee problems, but he's been in a very stringent training regimen under a woman out here in Los Angeles, and he says he's in the best shape he's ever been in. Now another of those fantastic finishes. 2 minutes to play in the ball game. The Los Angeles Raiders leading the Cleveland Browns 27-10. Don Criqui with John Brody on a very warm, sunny day in Southern California. Temperature around 80.
How about that? 505 yards. You've got to be able to do whatever you want when you score that kind of yardage on consistent drives.
Browns have given up over 1,000 on defense the last 2 weeks. Pittsburgh had 520 last week. Total offense as Frank Hawkins runs the ball for the Raiders, and the Browns sweep him under back at the 29-yard line. So the game clock runs down to 1:45 left to play. The coordinating producer of NBC's football is Ted Nathanson. The Raiders closing in on yet another win. It'll be their 9th in 10 games this season. 8-1 in the regular season play, best in the American Conference, and the home field theirs again next week.
And it might be interesting to know, too, John, that they do play each other next week, depending on how the seeds and how they won the games this week. And so you can't really determine who's playing who till after tomorrow's contest.
Some of those tomorrow are going to be a little closer.
I hope so.
Here's Plunkett on 3rd down and 9. Oops. They sack him for the second time in the game. Mike Robinson gets him. He's a load and starting to come out in his second year.
All right, here's the guy's had 386 total yards for the afternoon. Couple interceptions early. He's got it. Whoops. Well, look at this big fella. Mike Robinson coming in here. He gets underneath his grasp, and that's how you stay alive in this game.
1,000 were here at the outset of the day. Some are heading for the parking lot as the Raiders have won this game in the second half with 14 points and have shut out the Browns. Cleveland had a chance to take the lead at the outset of the third quarter when they drove way down the field and then fumbled the ball away. Ray Guy ready to punt the ball. Cleveland not putting anybody back. They're going to try to block it if they can. They got close, but Guy gets it away into and out of the end zone for a touchback, so the Browns get the ball at their 20. Business as usual for Ray Guy. Far from the Coliseum, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, the site of Super Bowl 17. Here's a swing pass, goes out to fullback Mike Pruitt. Out across the 25-yard line. Opening day of the 16-team Super Bowl tournament. Redskins Detroit, no contest, 31-7. Less of a one at Green Bay, where the Packers routed the Cardinals 41-16. Miami avenging the snowblower loss, winning over New England 28-13. New England can't remember when they last won at the Orange Bowl.
When it was snowing.
Here's a throw over the middle and a lateral play. The hook and ladder as Newsom caught it, gives it to Pruitt. Blew that old Miami Dolphin magic, but not to the end zone with 52 seconds left to play.
That pretty well sums it up. Judson Flint, expressionless.
His last moments in the Southern California sun. Back to Cleveland, wait till next year. Here's a long throw downfield, incomplete at the 25-yard line. Newsom was going for the ball. Big Ozzie from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, another great season with 49 receptions.
Here's a guy who's been playing 59 minutes. He knows they've got to throw the ball down the middle. Somebody's going to throw it. But look out, because it's very dangerous down there, and nothing can be won at this point.
47 seconds left to go. The Browns at the outset were behind 3-0. Raiders drove down the field. Their first possession went in front 3-0 on a field goal by Chris Barr. Cleveland came back, though, after stopping the Raider long drives and kicked the field goal to tie it. And it was 10-3 on a Marcus Allen touchdown run for Los Angeles. Browns came back to tie it 10-10. Raiders broke the tie and led 13-10 at halftime. Then in the second half, they've scored 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points. And they have a lock on the game, 27-10 with 42 seconds left to play. Other linebacker. Paul McDonald went the distance today during the week. Brian Sipe and McDonald worked equally with the Brown first offensive unit down in Anaheim. Here's a penalty marker as a sack by Johnny Robinson puts McDonald down. Sack number 6. While Alzado's given the rest of the afternoon off. He did a big job. This guy's a tough customer. He doesn't stop talking either, Robinson. We've gotten him on a couple personal fouls. When they say get the quarterback, Johnny, he means
foul, it. Unnecessary roughness.
You gotta be
68 defense.
You gotta be kidding.
Shot to the head.
That was the voice of Mr. Robinson. I'm glad his language was acceptable, but sometimes when you get close to the head man and he's got his mic on, that's what he takes. He gets a little abuse. He only got him with one hand. He was just trying to do anything he could to get the quarterback down on the ground, and he wasn't kidding.
Got a little kung fu shout in there. Now 1st and 10 for Cleveland on the penalty. McDonald comes out of the pocket, pulls up, lets her fly. Uh-oh, that would have gone a long way had Ted Watts been able to come up with that one. Dave Logan, the intended receiver, and Ted Watts with a play on the ball, and he knew he had an open track and a fast one all the way down the far sideline to the end zone.
Tired.
80 degrees and a little bit of humidity in Southern California. It's worn both sides down, but the Raiders have handled it well as Pruitt heads for and stops the clock with the out of bounds at the 22nd mark. Clock ticking down to 20. Best part is they're back earning it, playing.
That's right.
McDonald throws down the far sideline. Reception, will it go? Ball is taken in. Danny Fulton stepped out of bounds before he had the ball.
You know, you take a look and you say, hey, the ball game's over. 74, Archie Reese, the nose tackle, came from the San Francisco 49ers this year. Reuben Vaughn, 99. We've seen the effort that Robinson's been putting forth in the last minute. These guys just want a chance to get into the action. On the other side of the coin, I think the linemen for Cleveland would just like a chance to get out of it. It's been a long day for them. They're on the wrong end of the score, and you can see by the expression of Cousineau, it isn't in their favor.
4 opening playoff games, and not one of them close when the final gun went off, and the gun goes off here very shortly as the hard strike is put on. Fulton coming in, and Matt Millen put the big hit on. The inevitable has been delayed for a while, but now Jim Plunkett with the quarterback touchdown, and the game ticks out, and the Raiders roll on. McDonald returned to the Coliseum, had his team close for a half, but the best team in the American Conference under Coach Tom Flores rolls on and wins the opening playoff game 27-10. For John Brody, this is Don CRIQUI from the Los Angeles Coliseum.